Hi, and welcome to Comedy Recapped. Today we're going to be exploring 1986's Three Amigos. Beware, spoilers ahead. Our three amigos, Lucky, Dusty, and Ned, start us off by singing their amazing theme song, and they show off amazing range while they do it. In a small desert town, the streets are bustling with movement as a woman named Carmen is led through town to the local cantina. She looks to a boy, Rodrigo, and she assures him that they'll find the men they need inside. Everyone is silent when they come in, and she addresses everyone to ask for help. She tells everyone that a man named El Guapo is threatening her town, and soon they leave when the men start to try and take advantage of them. Their next stop is the church, where a silent film is being shown. The film is one that the three amigos play in, and Carmen is amazed at their show of bravery in the film. When they leave the church, Carmen and Rodrigo get the address of the three amigos actors, and she has a man send a telegraph to California to see if they'll come to help for a fee. Meanwhile, in California, the three amigos are playing hardball with a producer for more money, but they end up getting kicked out and stripped of their clothes. Lucky tells the others that something will come up, and just then, a messenger shows up to deliver them the message from Carmen. They misunderstand the message, and they sneak back into the studio that night to get their costumes. Just as they get dressed, the guards show up, and the three of them swing out of the set. Back in Carmen's town, a German man shows up in the cantina, and he tells the bartender that he's there to see El Guapo. When the locals get a little too inquisitive, the German shows him what he can do with his gun as he takes out 4 men with 4 shots. After seeing that no one else has anything else to say, he tells them that his friends will be there shortly, and he hopes they give them a warmer welcome than they gave him. Then he leaves the cantina. As he makes his way down the street, a carriage arrives with the three amigos in tow. They come into the cantina, and everyone assumes that they are the friends of the German. When the bartender tells them that the German said to stay here, they decide to have a drink. There's no beer in this town, but they definitely have tequila. The three amigos decide to try tequila for the first time, and it definitely doesn't disappoint. When they realize that the crowd is a little tense, Lucky has Dusty go to the piano while he and Ned put on a show. Their musical number proves to be an interesting one, and the crowd does its best to interact since they fear being shot down like the German did. Once they finish, the three amigos go outside, and they notice a small plane flying just overhead. When they leave to figure out where they're supposed to be, 2 other Germans walk into the cantina, and the patrons make fun of them. They don't take this too well, and they shoot down everyone on the balcony. Elsewhere in town, Carmen and Rodriguez welcome the three amigos, and they take them to their town by donkey. Once in the town, they are greeted like heroes, and they head inside to sit and eat. They all 3 lie down in the same bed, and Dusty asks Lucky about the details of the show they're supposed to put on. Apparently everyone's a little dusty on the details, but it seems like a simple scare off script to Lucky. Then, Dusty asks him what he's going to do with his share of the money. Lucky wants to buy a nice new shiny car. Dusty wants to travel, and Ned decides to start up a foundation for helpless children. The next day, we see a few banditos waiting for El Guapo in the desert, and they decide to head into the village early to get more tequila. Soon the women notice the banditos, and they run to the village to warn everyone. Carmen calls to the three amigos, and Lucky tells her calmly that they'll get ready. Soon the banditos start shooting things up in the village, and the three amigos come out to put on their show. When they come face to face with the banditos, they confuse them so much that they leave hastily to tell El Guapo what they've seen. Of course, the village praises the three amigos as heroes of the village, and they think that they put on a great show. The 3 banditos go back to their fort to report to El Guapo, and he assures them that he'll take 50 men back to the village the next day to finish off the 3 amigos. That night, the village puts on a celebration, and everyone is in a festive mood. Dusty has a moment to speak with one of the local women, and she makes it very clear that she's interested in him. In the morning, the village bell wakes up everyone, and the 3 amigos are regretting everything from the night before. Just then, Carmen barges in and tells them that El Guapo is here with all of his men, and they must get ready and ride out to meet him now. They quickly get into costume and ride out to meet him. When they start to feed El Guapo his lines, he gets confused, and they start the same performance that they put on the day before. El Guapo thinks that they're funny, and he tells his guy to only kill one of them. His man shoots Lucky, and when he gets up, he notices that he has actually been shot. He goes over to inspect the bandito's gun, and he finds real ammo. After taking a second, he goes back to Dusty and Ned to explain that this is all very real. After realizing that they're about to die, they start to sob uncontrollably. They go back to El Guapo, and they explain that they are just actors. The village can't believe what they're hearing, but El Guapo gives them the chance to run away. Sure enough, the three amigos hop on their horses and ride out of there as quickly as possible. El Guapo addresses the village and gives them a warning that they were foolish to try and bring men to stop him. He grabs Carmen and tells his men that the village is no longer under his protection. The banditos start to blow up the village and terrorize the citizens. When they're done, they leave the villagers to pick up the rubble on their own, and the three amigos come back to retrieve their belongings. The hosts tell them that El Guapo has taken everything, and that includes Carmen. Lucky tries to apologize to them, but his words aren't met with kindness. Lucky and Dusty decide to run back to Hollywood as quickly as possible, but they find Ned getting ready to risk it all. He mentions that they have nothing back in Hollywood, and he plans to be the real amigo here. After a riveting speech, Lucky and Dusty agree to be the heroes that they always act like. They ride out into the desert, and when they make camp, they go over the directions. After a catchy campfire tune, they all say their goodnights. The next day, they wander the desert with no more water, all except Dusty, who wastes the plethora of water that he has left. They continue on until they come to a singing bush, and then they go through a ritual to summon the invisible swordsman. During the ritual to summon the invisible swordsman, Dusty ends up shooting the swordsman, and they have to rely on the plane they see flying overhead to find the fort of El Guapo. Meanwhile, Carmen is approached by one of El Guapo's women, and she explains that she will be the birthday woman for El Guapo that night. He waits for the Germans to show up, but his second-in-command is excited to tell him that he's got so many piñatas waiting for him. When they notice the Germans approaching, we see that the three amigos have made it to an overlook that lets them see right into El Guapo's fort. The Germans arrive with crates of weapons for El Guapo, and he gets ready for his birthday celebration. The three amigos find a good place to get inside, but they have to take care of a guard first. Dusty tells them that he'll throw a rock to distract him, but he ends up hitting the guard with it instead. The guard ends up falling off the wall, and they make their way inside. They get ready to swing across the villa. Dusty winds up in Carmen's room. Ned gets stuck up top with his feet in a piñata, and Lucky falls right in front of El Guapo. Lucky takes this chance to make his demands to El Guapo, and he sends Lucky away to get ready to be killed. On his way to his cell, Lucky tries to explain how much better the bandito's life would be if he let him win. Back upstairs, Dusty leaves Carmen's room, and Carmen is the one that has to knock out the guard. Carmen tells him to take the guard's clothes, and they sneak around the building. Meanwhile, Lucky is trying to figure out the pulley system that he is tied to. Dusty ends up being pulled forward to witness the birthday toast, and soon, El Guapo starts addressing each of his men personally. Eventually, he comes to Dusty, and he ends up finding Ned when he falls from the sky. The German recognizes Ned, and he talks about how his character inspired him to master the quick draw. He decides that they have to compete to see who is actually faster, and he decides that they'll have a duel. Just as the duel gets ready to start, Lucky frees himself and watches from the fortress wall. Ned ends up winning the duel, but the gun gets knocked out of his hands, and Lucky catches it. After they accidentally take out a few banditos, El Guapo decides that he has had enough. When he pulls a gun on Dusty, Lucky ends up holding everyone hostage. He has Ned open the gates, and Carmen comes in with horses. As they ride off, the banditos go to their mounts to give chase. Eventually, the three amigos and Carmen make it to the Germans' plane, and Ned decides that he'll try his hand at flying. With Dusty and Lucky holding onto the wings, they barely make it to Carmen's village, and Ned lands them right in the middle of the village. Carmen's people welcome her with open arms, and Lucky warns them that El Guapo is on his way. After an inspirational speech, Lucky remembers something that they once did in one of their movies, and Ned decides that they have no other option but to try it. Soon, all of the women are sewing something, and Dusty helps the men dig just around the town. When El Guapo arrives with his men, the three amigos end up shooting the banditos from all angles. It almost seems like they're everywhere at one time. After falling for a few of the traps, El Guapo finds himself losing men as they run away. Just then, El Guapo is finally shot off his horse. The village reveals that they were all dressed as the three amigos, and all of them were defending their village. In his final moments, El Guapo shoots Lucky in the foot and dies. The village celebrates the amigos, and they all say their goodbyes. The three amigos say their farewell, and they ride off over the hill. The three comedy icons that play the three amigos are a power that can't be stopped. Even after all these years, this movie still stands as proof that they are the perfect ensemble. And that's going to wrap things up for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this recap as much as we did. If you liked the video and want to look into other movies with us, then be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. That way you won't miss a single video.